Hi everyone, this is C Prash. I'm just going to show you the Rezivot Power Ranger. It enables your SX70 or your sonar cameras to shoot itype film natively without much modification. So this is the Rezivot Power Ranger. I'm just going to unbox it real quick. I've actually unboxed this on a previous video, so you may want to refer back to that. So it comes in this nice case that you can actually store your film. So let's open it. So it comes with this template which you will use to punch some holes. Inside the packaging, you also have the Power Ranger itself. So it looks something like this. Okay, we'll take a look at it later. It comes with some cables, USB charging cable, a wrist strap, all that. And then a device that you can use to punch the holes with. Okay. On top of that, if you notice the casing, it has this like protective layer on the inside that will help with some insulation. And you also notice there's a temperature strip here, so you can roughly know what's the temperature like. You can actually take your film packs and keep them in here. It should fit about 2 film packs and close easily without much issues. Unfortunately, you can't store the film with the box inside. It doesn't really fit in as well. So just remove the box, and with the aluminium foil you can store inside. Put it in your bag. You can even put in probably external shutter cord here at the side or any other small accessories. Or if you don't want to carry your film here, you can actually just carry accessories for your camera inside this box, so it's quite useful. Okay, so let's look at the Power Ranger. You'll notice that there's a back screw which you unscrew to insert the 18650 batteries. There's this protective cover that will actually covers the pins. The pins are actually quite fragile, and if you notice there's some give later on when we insert it into the camera. You should press onto certain components. There's a power indicator strip here. You'll press and hold the power button for 10 seconds to switch on the Rezivot. So I'm just gonna start pressing it just to show you how it'll look like. Oh, sorry, there's no battery inserted, so later I'll insert a battery and I'll show you this. There's a tripod socket for you to mount your camera onto a tripod, and on top of that you need a tripod socket on your own camera just to insert this in. Let me just put this back to protect it. Okay, let's put everything aside and let's now modify our camera. Okay, before you begin, make sure you have a SX70 or SX70 sonar camera with a tripod socket here. Please ignore the holes here. These I cut out for the Rezivot Power Ranger later on. But just make sure your camera has a tripod socket, or else you can't really use the Power Ranger with that model of camera. Okay, now we're going to modify our SX70 or SX70 sonar camera to fit the Rezivot. So first I'm going to open it up, and I'm going to open the film area. So what we're going to do is we're going to attempt to remove this tab here, this metal spring-like tab that holds that prevents the seating of the itype film into the camera. So what you want to do is you want to just insert something thin to separate the okay, so one side is out already, as you can see. See, one side is out, so I'm gonna get the other side out as well. You can see it's spinning around that last rivet, so I'm just gonna apply a bit more pressure to break the rivet on the other side. Okay, it's out. So when you drop it out, it'll look something like that. So once you remove this, you should be able to insert your itype cartridges in seamlessly. We're gonna now punch some holes on the bottom leatherette. What you will use is this template. Okay, you will just stick it over. Okay, then inside the box they provided this tool. Okay, and you'll notice one side there's a hole, whereas one side is actually covered up. So you use the hole to press firmly and rotate, you'll use quite a bit of force. This will help to punch a hole in the leatherette. Follow the 2 holes, and after you're done, you should get something like this. You'll notice you may actually have to peel off the small bits of leather that's left behind, and then you'll notice there are 2 indicators inside. This shows where the LEDs for the Power Ranger will insert. So now we're gonna place the Power Ranger, but before we place the Power Ranger, we're gonna insert the battery in. So to insert the battery for the Power Ranger, you just have to unscrew this part. So Rezivot has some recommended batteries, so just go to their website and just look at their set of recommended batteries. Okay, so this is the battery that is required. This isn't one of their recommended ones, so do be careful when you use things that are not really recommended. Inserting the battery is very difficult, so you have to use quite a bit of force. If you notice, I've even scratched my batteries at certain parts, so just be careful. I think it's a bit too tight. If Rezivot for the next iteration could make it a bit more user-friendly, please do so. Make sure you leave the cable overlapping the battery, so you're gonna apply a fair bit of force and it goes in. Okay, so it should look something like that. Then we're gonna screw back the cover. Okay, put the screw in. Just gonna tighten it with a coin. Okay, perfect. So let's open the Power Ranger and expose the pins. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna insert the pins so that they make contact with the metal bits on the inside of your camera. Okay, and make sure it aligns with your tripod socket, and then you just screw it in firmly. Okay, when you seat the Rezivot in, you will notice it sits at an angle, okay, a slight angle. It should be it should be quite flush here, but there might be a slight space on the other side, so that's normal. I contacted Rezivot and they said it's perfectly normal, so you just make sure you tighten it well. Okay, so you'll notice how that it seats firmly here, but there's a slight space, so that is normal, so don't worry about that. Okay, so once you inserted the Power Ranger, you can switch it on by pressing and holding down the power button for 10 seconds. The indicator will switch on to show that it's powered on, and it will show you how much battery is left. So currently I have no cartridges inside, so you actually hear it switch on once I put it in. Insert it now, should go in. Check, so when I press, you will see the autofocus. And it's very quick. Okay. So the thing is, you can use your 600 film cartridges as well, but the problem is the power pack will start charging these contact points. So what you want to do is you want to stick a piece of tape over these contact points before you insert it into the camera. So let's try now with an actual cartridge that I'm gonna insert. So I'm gonna insert an itype film cartridge. If you can see, it's black and white itype film. It's the black frame edition, so let's open that. Put it in, make sure it's flush, and there we go. So let's go out and take some films. This is the first shot that I took in bright sunlight, and it came out pretty well. It's a bit overexposed, but this is definitely not a failure of the Power Ranger. I took another photo later on indoors with a flash bar from Mint. it came out pretty well as well, and I think the Power Ranger does what it promises on your SX70 and sonar cameras. I look forward to shooting more itype films, as Polaroid seems to be spending more on creating more variants in the itype film as opposed to the native 600 and SX70 films.